What's up, bros, bears, muscle mommies, and everything in between? Welcome back to episode 4 of the 2300 Plus podcast featuring myself, Patrick Maguire, Shane Holler, and Craig Foster. Today, we have a very special guest out of Philadelphia, Mississippi. Brad Crawford, Super Dad, as Shane likes to call him, and he's the strongest guy you've never heard of, and you won't forget him. Enjoy the episode.
Yeah, stupid.
There we go.
Recording in progress. We always do like five minutes of banter before we get it going, and then I'm always just like, man, these will be like little gems. And then I always just hear recording in progress, and I'm like, oh no, we missed it. We missed.
I was trying to time it so that like it's at the end of a thought, but the thought should have been. I don't know. I'm bad. I'm bad at clicking the buttons.
Boys, we're good. Well, we're back again with another. Not always consistently timed, but 23 plus podcast with me, Shane Haller, Pat Maguire, and big Greg Foster.
The Paul King.
The Paul King.
More consistent than the two bros, one shaker cup. Allegedly.
We got this will be like number 5, 3, 5, 4 or 5.
I don't know. We're powerlifters. Can't count really well past 3.
Dude, you saw that triple I did the other day, man. It gets rough when you get around that third one. You're like, first one, easy. Second one, RPE like 9. Like last one, 1,000 effort percent got stuffed like just before lockout, man.
It's like Nick just turned the gravity switch on in the gym.
Yeah, it was for real, dude. But I felt it, like I shifted too forward on the second rep, and I felt it like all on my knees, you know, like your knees and your toes. You're like, all right, well, I got to resettle that boy. And I'm never very good. I don't know about you guys. I'm never very good about retaking my air after a squat. Like that's why I love the mono, because it's just like brace, go. And so like when I'm walking out, I hold my breath from the second I take it out of the rack to the second I put it back in the rack, which is fine. But like if I'm doing anything more than like 3 or 4, like it's like, all right, I'm like just holding my breath the whole fucking time. But
yeah, I can't. I have to almost reset on almost everything, unless I'm in a groove, then I can. But most of the time, I always have to kind of reset to catch my breath.
Yeah, I can usually get like 2 or 3 reps with a single breath, and then anything more than that, and I'm just like, all right, let's resettle this. Let's get under it.
You and Craig have like pretty solid like re-brace faces though. Like when Craig will walk something out, he'll start talking shit to it, and like he makes all the fucking big faces. And I feel like Pat's kind of the same way. Like I've seen him just like like he's like trying to suck all the air out of the room, and it's like you just have that like that like huge shocked face on. You know what I mean? But I'm not good at it. I think it's a big guy thing. You got to fill up that big old diaphragm and then just fucking get after it.
It's like you take the weight, you get your brace, and then you're like, shit, I'm not as tight as I should be. Let me get more air. But it's so hard to get more air when you're already full of air. You just need that last little bit of air, and then you take the breath, and you're like, shit, I just lost a little air. I think I did the opposite of what I wanted to do.
This is bad. I'm now out of position.
I do everything.
Dude, speaking of big guys being able to do that, Patty, you're shrinking down to my size here, dude. You're like halfway between me and Craig right now.
Yeah.
Well, as of yesterday morning, I was 342, and then I went to a Friendsgiving thing last night, back up to 351.
Dude, so that's what I plan on. I had like a Greek yogurt. I'm about to slam like a pretty decent shake, and then I'm heading over to my mom's for this. Like we're doing the same thing, like pre-Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving. And I'm gonna like leave there in pain. I'm gonna get my calories worth for sure, because like I don't feel like, I don't know about you boys, like on the weekends, like my structure on my diet, at least recently, is just kind of like it shrinks from like I'm very consistent Monday through Friday because I'm like in work mode, like everything's very like regimented and scheduled. And then like on the weekends, it's like I'll eat before I train on Saturday. I just eat an enormous amount of food when I get home because I'm at the gym for like 6 hours. And then I'll have like another huge dinner, and then Sunday's kind of the same deal. Very unmotivated on the weekends to kind of space it out, but like it's like, well, dude, the new Pokemon game just came out, and I've been burning through that, which is great. But it's like I look up and I'm like, oh, 4 hours is gone. Like I should probably do this. So it's like, you know, I think it's just kind of having that balance of just kind of like, you know, if my weight's not an issue, I'm getting all the intake I need in right now. Like it's off season. Like I don't need to be super on point, which could be kind of like you get somebody that's like, wow, you got to be on all the time. You got to be killing this XYZ and covering all your bases. I get that, but it's like, if you're doing consistently that year round for years, like 80% of the time, like you're in a good spot, dude. It's hard to do that for fucking years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
That is definitely true.
Yeah. Dude, so you're like, you're doing cardio stuff now? You're doing like those crazy, like, double-handed fucking dumbbell deals and everything, like
you're like a CrossFitter now.
Yeah.
So I just started with Joe Sullivan as my new coach last week, and this week was week 2, and like everything's got timed rest periods. I'm not able to get away with like 10 minutes between sets, and there's like, even with the timed rest periods, I'm still in the gym from like an hour and a half to 3 hours a day. So it's like it's like 50 sets in a session, and it's all like really light right now because he's like, well, we're not doing the Pioneer Open anymore, so we're basically going to go into a hypertrophy restructure. Yeah, we're gonna build up the slow twitch muscles so that you're able to grind anything out, because I have zero grindability. If I get it, it's gonna look easy, but if it doesn't look easy, I'm not gonna get it any weight. So we're basically restructuring that, and he and Briani want me to compete at 330, and I'm like, that's a little small. I want to cut down to like 335 to 345, walk around there, and then compete at 370, do like a 12-week 40-pound bulk going into a meet. So I get
I can't do that. I do 10 to 12 pounds, 15 pounds at most. After that, that's just too much.
Dude, Craig is 360. He's anywhere between 360 and well, he hasn't been 370 top end. I would say you stay like 360 like year round, dude. Like you'll fluctuate a little bit here and there, but like that's your anchor. Like you don't have to even like super try to like go up or down. Like it's just Craig is.
I'm 357 right now. I'll only get down to like 348, 49 before I start prepping for the Pioneer. Then I'll try to get to like 365 again for the meet.
Yeah. Give yourself a head start. I think Big Brad's in the conversation now. I just saw that pop up.
It's maybe connecting to audio.
He's almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I've just been hanging probably around like a little beefier than most. Like, I mean, normally I'm probably like closer to 315 right now, but I gotta like try to pack that on as far as just like eating consistently. Otherwise, dude, I'll wither up here. But you boys, I feel like you hang pretty heavy without trying for the most part.
It's genetics, obviously.
It is.
If anything, you should be the heaviest of us all. You're the tallest one.
Dude, everyone thinks I'm like way taller than that. Like I was just got a message from, like, I'll talk to people online like randomly that don't know me, and they're like, "Oh, you're like 6'6" or 6'5", aren't you?" And I'm like, "No, I'm like 6'2" and 3/4. I'm just like super.
Yeah, you make me look small.
Everyone thinks everything looks bigger.
I'm squatting behind you on squats. You dwarf me.
Everyone just looks small next to you because we're all like 5'6", 5'9".
Yeesh, you guys are all like 5'10". Well, Craig's like 5'9", but dude, he just said squats. Like it's way more advantageous to sit there and be shorter. I wouldn't have to do a split every single time I'm squatting something, with these big old crane legs versus you guys are just compact, short, spring it right up and ready to go.
Use the elasticity of the belly, as the new coach says that I should not do.
Well, what was the thing that he told you that fired you really up though, boys?
Oh, so I was pretty much everything that he's programmed right now is an accessory. The main movement is almost an accessory to itself. So I'm going through it and I'm like, I've got 60 seconds rest. Let's take off like 5 pounds. Let's make it a little easier so I can get through this. And he was like, it kind of looks like you don't know how to strain. I'm like, you motherfucker. You say I don't know how to work. I'm gonna show you how to work. I'm puking. This on the cardio specific day, I'm puking. You say I need to break this machine, I'm gonna break it. So
dude, I saw you about rip the head off of a row, the ski erg or a row thing, whatever that was. It was like one of those old school ones, Craig, like we used to have, where it's like a water jug with a fan that like that causes the traction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pat was literally scooting it towards the back, like the door that was behind him, dude. He was like rowing out the building.
It ended up like twisting about 45 degrees between 3 sets. Rough.
Yeesh.
So we got Big Brad Crawford on the call today. Just finished competing at the Static Monsters.
He's in.
He's in.
What's up? Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Dude, I've been waiting to actually talk to you for like years at this point, man. Brad and I have been talking online for on and off for a little bit here, probably since the tribute meet in 2019. We'll message each other, but I've never actually gotten to like shake his hand, meet him, have a conversation. So I'm like really fired up he came on today, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's 2019. Yeah, we've been talking some, and it's good to be on here with all you guys. I try to watch, keep up with what you guys are doing on Instagram to try to keep me motivated, keep my old ass motivated.
So you can be motivated.
Yeah, we were just talking about it, dude. Like, I feel like, I don't know if you've been on I haven't heard any podcasts with you on them or anything like that. So I was kind of interested to kind of just talk to you today and almost do like a little more interview style, because you're like the strongest guy that no one on social media really knows about. Like, it's like you're self-coached, you train in your garage by yourself, and you show up to big meets and you smash big numbers to like good standard. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like you leave and you go back and just do what you do. You know what I mean?
Go back in my cave and hide out for a little while.
The cave. What state are you in right now? We were trying to figure that out before the podcast before you hopped on here. Where are you from?
Philadelphia, Mississippi. So that's why I put like parts unknown on on my Instagram, because I like go to a meet like you're talking about. People are like, where are you from? And I'd be like, Philadelphia. And they'd be like, well, hell, you don't sound like it. I'm like, no. Different Philadelphia. So then so I just put parts unknown.
Yeah.
I was about to say, go Eagles. We said Philadelphia.
Fly, Eagle, fly.
I actually got didn't that Garner Mitchell, don't he play for the Eagles?
Yeah.
He's from down the road, a little town down the road from where I live, Carthage, Mississippi. So yeah, go Eagles.
Okay, I didn't know that.
There we go. Yep. That's Craig's team, man. He freaking.
That explains a lot how he is.
Yeah, his family is actually good friends with my wife's family, so they come to like the 4th of July, get together. I've never met the guy, like his grandma and stuff. So yeah, we always Mississippi's a small place, so usually if anybody goes pro, from here, we usually try to keep up with them pretty good.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, I feel like the first time I really I noticed you as far as lifting wise, or I saw you any video you lifting was probably the 2017 Kern. That was the one where it was in the big hangar and everything up in California. And you were competing back at 308 back then. You were my right around my size, man. I mean, like, little smaller than you were now. And then I just remember you had probably one of the biggest deadlifts of the day at that meet. And after that, I mean, that was probably your last meet at 308, because you started packing on weight, and then your total just, I mean, shot up through the roof, man. You almost added probably like 250 pounds of that thing since then,
Yeah. I always felt kind of lanky. I'm 6'3" at 308. So
that's me.
Yeah, but I mean, you got the third highest total. I was still kind of low. So I just always took the adage, I guess from the old school power lifters, the more mass you can put on, the bigger your total will be. So I was like, 6'3", I'd probably need to be, well over 300. So right. Yeah, the pounds added to the total.
Oh man, definitely. And I mean, it's something too where it's kind of like, well, my coach Sean Danner and stuff, we all like follow you, and we see your lifts and everything else like that. And we all kind of joke, you're like, you're super dad. You know what I mean? It's like you're getting older and older, but you're getting stronger and stronger, man. You're kind of like going against time here, man. That's what I was talking to Dan Bell about, the same thing, dude. I mean, it's every year you're fucking spanking out, more numbers, getting, up in the bench, up in the deadlift. You ripped up last year at that USPA meet. That's another thing. I mean, you're walking out all your squats and everything. You're not taking the easy road with the monolift like all three of us are. But yeah, I mean, you spanked out like a 920 deadlift. I mean, that looked like almost, second attempt conservative. You know what I mean? You definitely like that's more than tank that day. And you actually, I thought you and I were talking. You were probably poised to do more than that at the hybrid meet here back in February, January, and then you tore your bicep here. How's the recovery going for that?
It went really well. I actually, did all I think I went to physical therapy twice, but by the time I got there, what they were wanting me to do was, I'd pretty much have been doing on my own. Probably wasn't supposed to be, but I did that, and I tried a few of the peptides and stuff. And I mean, that sometimes if you kind of snatch on that arm a little bit. Like I still don't like. I like. Hello.
I cut out. Hold on. I'm in my car right now. I got some stuff going on in the house where I'm trying to get a little peace and quiet for this podcast, and it just cut out here. Sorry to cut you off, Brad. Let me get this figured out here. Hold on.
Yeah, I had to drive to a little town up the road so I'd have good service.
Ooh. So I saw you posted something the other day. It was I think it was the Static Monsters Masters rankings, and I saw Big Z had the I think it was the log press in 2020 and 2021, and I saw you I think you had the top deadlift in 2022.
Yeah, that was I was actually like their Masters all-time record. So he's got the log and the total, and then I got the deadlift for the Masters. So, yeah, Big Z, it's pretty neat. Just me being from the Mississippi, the middle of nowhere, and Big Z, probably greatest winningest strongman of all time. To have your name sitting up there by him, that was really neat.
Yeah.
Pretty stoked.
I was actually talking about the Static Monsters with a couple guys at my gym the other day, and they mentioned that Rhina was coming into the Masters now. Do you have like a game plan to go up against him coming up in the future?
Oh, you're talking about he's coming into powerlifting?
He's going into the Masters of strongman.
You're talking about is that guy from Estonia?
Rhino Heinle. Yeah.
Heinle. I saw that. I guess they had the Masters World's Strongest Man or something, and Big
over in Daytona.
Yep. Yeah, and I think Ronalo come in second. I think so. As far as that goes.
Well, go ahead. Say, off the floor, man. He's in a suit and with figure eights. He's almost close to 1,100 pounds off the floor with. He's a freak.
Yeah. I saw him do maybe like 1,000 for a double or something like that before on his Instagram.
Nuts.
Insane, man. You do some crazy stuff out of the rack. I'll see you do like this is all raw and everything, but like I'll see you do like 880 on like a Texas squat bar. You know what I mean? The 55-pound bars are like, you do some crazy stuff in the garage, man, for overload. And then, it makes sense that you rip all the weight you do off the floor so quick.
Yeah, I've always just kind of like, I always believe like if you make something harder in training, then, when you go to the meet, it's that much easier, so like using the bands from the floor and then using the Texas squat bar to pull from blocks and stuff. It just it's like when you go back to actually pulling from the floor with the regular deadlift bars, it's just like, okay, what's this little twig, So.
Exactly. Get some flex and everything else.
Yep.
And you're completely self-coached too, right? You're completely self-coached.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think the very first meet I did, and first meet I did was in 2015. I did a strongman contest before that in 2014. Then in 2015, I used the Cube by Brandon Lilly. I don't know if you guys remember that. It's an older program.
Yeah.
And then after that, I just started doing my own thing.
Yeah, because I had messaged you about some program and stuff, because I was having some issues with my bench trying to get, just kind of add some weight to that. And you had been blowing yours up meet to meet at, 15, 20 pounds or whatever. And I was like, what do you do, man? And you sent me your stuff, and it was, I mean, nothing crazy, but you train it's like 3 days a week from what you were sending me then. You had your upper day, a lower day, and then it was kind of like a mix, but you do a lot of GPP stuff out in your backyard or whatever else too, with some sleds and kettlebells and everything. So I wouldn't say it's like as far as conventional, as far as what people think, as far as like basic like USAPL training stuff, but it's very like it works. You know what I mean? Like you've figured out what kind of works for you and your body type and everything else like that. And I mean, obviously the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, I've always kind of just like trial and error. It's kind of like I know exactly what assistance, stuff I got to do to keep my lifts going up. So for me, like for bench, it's some kind of neutral overhead press. I think me and Pat talked about that. He was fooling with the neutral bar on the bench press. But for me, like a neutral overhead press, and get my shoulders really strong, and then some kind of partial bench press, because my sticking point's always, about halfway up. I got really long arms, so I'm fast off the bottom and then slower in the top, just something to really overload triceps. Yep. And some kind of incline. That's usually about it. Usually what I stick to for bench press.
But I am broke, don't fix it, man. And I think probably for me, the biggest thing this off season, I was pretty banged up after 2 meets back to back, and it was like, what can I do that's, I'm still going to make some progress with, but what am I not going to like overtax myself, walking out with, wrecked elbows from tendonitis or my back all, inflamed or, kind of acting up or something like that. And it's been just keeping it more simple. The stuff that I love that I can do every single week with no problem. It's kind of like the food you eat, you know what I mean? As long as I can eat this every week, do this every week, and I'm getting results from it, but it's not the, the craziest thing. I'm just going to keep beating the hell out of it,
Right. Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And
amen.
If it's I guess that's my powerlifting philosophy. I try to do. I guess you say I guess it should be everybody's when you get talking about optimal is, the least I can do to recover from to make the most gains from. Right. I can get
amen.
Walking that tight line between what maximally you can do versus what you can recover from.
Yeah.
Constantly trying to find that.
And then as you get older too, it's like the older I've gotten, the strength's still there, but it's like the crazy, high volume workouts and stuff that I used to could do, I can't recover from as good. So I had to keep it short and to the point and get the most bang for my buck the older I get.
Yeah.
And that part's almost gets kind of hard, because it's like, what's worked for you previously. And then when you have to kind of pivot and make a change, that's what I've had to really do this off season, where like you're saying, I'm not, I'm 29, I'm not super old, but I've put the miles in my body in the gym. Right. So it's like this off season, I used to squat and deadlift on the same days twice a week. And, now it's like that puts me up for a couple of weeks. So I gotta be a little smarter with my training, with my deloads and everything else.
Yeah, I saw some of those 4 sets of 10 or 8 or whatever you're doing with 6 something. I'm like, man, I'd be dead for the rest of the week if I didn't.
Believe it or not, I would do that, and then I would do a heavy set of 5x5 like 3 or 4 days later, and I would rotate back and forth between the two. And so now I can only do one or the other. But it is what it is, and especially with I made the switch over to sumo, which is Pat's coach is having him do the same thing, but you pull conventional, so don't think less of me. But taking so much pressure off my back, you know what I mean? Feels so much good, and I can train still. So
yeah, hey, whatever's going to put the most pounds on your total on the platform. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what matters. I noticed seeing Pat pulling sumo on a video the other day. How's that going, Pat?
It was the first time I pulled sumo since I was 19, so like first time in about 7 years that I pulled sumo. And I decided to throw in the hook grip as well, because I talked to I forgot what his name is. He's RFD Physics on Instagram at the American Pro, and he explained the biomechanics of hook grip, and it just all clicked in my head, because I had been trying to implement hook grip previously to the American Pro talking with Shane a lot, and he was talking about how you got to relax your thumb and you've got to like grip with your middle finger rather than your index finger, and like the primal instincts that come out of whatever muscle memory you got going on with that. But I personally don't like sumo. I pulled 505, I think it was, this week, and that was a 5-pound PR. So I vastly outbench my sumo deadlift, which I'm at risk of outbenching my conventional deadlift at this point too. So I guess I can't be picky and choosy, but
that's a good problem to have, man. I mean, you got to get the pull up, but I mean, shit. I was about to say,
I relate to
over. Yeah, Craig too.
Yeah, I've lost about 30 pounds, so getting to the bar is a little bit easier. So both options are on the table for me at this point. It's just getting the work in and training both of them to get them up, and then whichever one's going to be there on meet day is the one that I'm going to be using.
Yeah.
Well, that's where it counts.
Like Brad was just saying, man, whatever's going to get the pounds in the total. I was joking. I was like, if I'm going to be walking my squats out in April, I got to be cheating somehow. So that's why I switched over to sumo. You got to, if I'm going to give a little, I got to take a little too.
It's like the great Bill Belichick quote: "If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying."
Amen.
It's Belichick.
Belichick. But that was almost the big reason we kind of got this podcast going, was just the 23 plus thing. Is, we all got in that group chat, earlier this year talking about the meet in April. And we tried to get everybody that we could find with a big total or a big number or something like that in that group chat to see if we could get all in the same spot at the same time. And Patty ended up having he's not going to end up doing it now because he's switching his sights over to kind of rest up some injuries and then get ready for the American Pro next year. Yeah. But I was going to say, Pat, Brad
5 injuries in 3 months.
Yeah, dude, that's a fucking lot. You got to you got to rest all that up. But I was going to say, because Brad tore his bicep, and then I got kind of banged up over the summer and stuff. So him and I have been kind of holding off for this meet in April. And I mean, I don't know about you, Brad, and where your training's at and stuff. Everything looks like it's better than ever for you. But I mean, for me, it's kind of been like this slow build process now where I'm kind of, I mean, all my reps are kind of still high and, the weights are low, but for the rep ranges I'm using and everything else, man, I feel like $1 million. And it's at this point, it's kind of like we have, about a little less than 5 months, maybe 5 months till that meet. I have a set amount of program I have up until then, but I'm kind of I'm taking my time. If I'm not feeling it one day, like I'm giving it a day to just chill out. Like I'm not rushing anything, but I feel very, very good heading into that competition.
That's great, man. Yeah, for myself, I pushed really hard to go into the static monsters and was really learning how to clean the log from the floor. I've pressed the log out of a rack, a good bit. Up at the local gym in town, I'd swing by there and just mess around with it sometimes. But so right now, I'm just kind of taking it easy for probably till I get ready to meet prep. I'm just trying to maintain strength and be ready to launch off into whatever program I decide to use to come into the meet there.
Yeah, I think
Craig,
like I said,
Craig, you still in?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just listening.
I'm talking about you still in the meet, coming to the meet.
Oh yeah, I'm still in the meet. Yeah. Right now, I'm just doing a lot of volume right now. I just finished competing about a month ago, so I'm just slowly easing back into it again. But feeling good. Bench is feeling good. Deadlifts is feeling good. I'm having Shane coach me now on deadlifts and squats. I just started squatting this week, so I'm like slowly building that back up again. But as of right now, I'm feeling good. So as long as I keep going, I'm still doing that meet.
Yeah, I saw the 1,025, second highest raw squat. Is that right?
Third highest.
Third highest. Okay, I was trying to look at it the other day. I knew it was on up there. That was crazy, man.
Yeah, the goal is to go for second all the time in April. So okay. I'll be 10:41.
Those two steps are going to be that's going to be the deciding factor if we can walk out. Craig and I haven't done a walked out meet probably 2019 for me. Yeah.
Oh man, I've never did a monolift meet. There's nowhere around, close by. Nobody has a monolift. I've squatted in a monolift one time as a friend of mine's gym and over in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. But other than that, I've never touched a mono. So it's just power rack and then go to the meet and use the combo rack. That's all I've ever done. So I don't know any difference.
I was gonna say, man, just like you're saying earlier, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But that's been kind of the relearning thing for me. So I've been kind of happy to kind of hammer it out with as much volume as I can right now to get the practice in. But yeah, if he can, if Craig can sit there and just add 15 pounds of that squat, you know, he's right on his way to sit there right at 1041, 1042, and that would put him second behind Ray Williams, which would be huge.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it'd be a freaking monster. But it's crazy watching him peak because he'll, you know, what was it, Craig? You hit 800 to start the prep, like 9 weeks out. Well, for a single, you hit to start the peaking, you hit it for a single. That was the one day, and then you went like up to 860 for a couple doubles, and then you did 925 for a double, and then you take 2 weeks off, and then you add 100 pounds to that, and that was that's literally your peak. That's your peaking for the meet, man. It's just wild to watch.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was shocked on it. That was the first time being shocked going through a 10-week peak like that. Started at 804 slow and all the way up to 1025 like that. That was first. I was wow, especially since learning how to do squat all over again, basically. So
yeah, man, it's freaking crazy. And then you take a month and a half off of squatting just after the meet, and your first day back, you're doing 3 sets of 8 with 600. Everyone in the gym's like, "Oh, that's crazy," and I'm like, "You have to put it in perspective. It is less than 60% to him. Less than 60%."
Yeah, it's like somebody like myself, nowhere near that kind of squat, doing reps with 400. You know, he's throwing around 660. Lightweight, easy weight to him.
Yeah, for real. But then you switch it over. That's what's always nice about training with him is he smokes me in the squat and the bench every single time. So every time I go to the gym, I got that chip on my shoulder. I'm like training with Big Brother. You know what I mean? He's got to he's just gonna one up everything I do. So it's never good enough. And then
the same thing you pull, and I'm like, damn.
I was gonna say, yeah, so it evens out on that, but that's funny.
Yeah, you guys keep each other in check. When I go to the gym, everyone's like, they're basically all inflating my ego at this point. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you're squatting 600 for 6 to a box," and I'm like, "Yeah." And like, there's got to be this mental aspect to training that goes on versus, do you want to have people inflating your ego like that, or do you want to keep people humbling you? I preferred back in 2020, 2021, when I was going to an empty gym and there was no one there. Like, there wasn't even music sometimes. I called it the serial killer playlist. And like, I got motivated by my own spite of my own numbers, being like, man, I sandbag this lift on meet day. Or like, this person's coming up, like the Instagram generation where you see like Brad or Shane throwing up big numbers in training, and you'd be like, well, I guess I have to push myself a little more because these are my competitors. These are what they're doing. So like, what kinds of things do you look at? What kinds of motivators do you have in the garage gym that you got there, Brad? What keeps you going?
I guess just, you know, looking at what it's pretty much the same thing you're describing, is looking at what other people are doing on Instagram and just being like I've always had like this other voice in my head, like it's like a football coach or something. It's like, hey, you know, you lazy ass, you know, you suck. You know, come on, go. You know what I'm saying? Look what these guys are doing. Quit drag assing around, you know. So
it's that chip on your shoulder mentality.
Huh?
It's that chip on your shoulder mentality, man. Even if you're doing something like I can gas you up about your deadlift all day long, but in your head you're like, well, there's Shane Hunt pulling more than this, or there's fucking Jamal, or there's Dan, you know what I mean? And it's like you instantly just diminish anything that you've done, because that's what I do. Like, you know, I got my squat, but then it's like, you know, Pat and Craig are 1,000-pound squatters, so I'm just like, what the hell am I going to be excited about 925? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. That's pretty much probably the same thing that goes to your guys' head, is just, you know, come on, man, you know, let's go. Look what these guys are doing. And, you know, gotta, you know, and I guess, you know, sometimes I guess being as unknown as I am at times, you know, it's kind of like, all right, you know, okay, I'll show you, you know what I'm saying? Because
I was going to say, man, that's got to kind of piss you off a little bit when, you know, I wouldn't even say lesser people that aren't, because, let's be honest, we're all 300-pound men. We're not looking at dots or, Wilt scores or anything like that. So like when I see when I see a little guy get all this clout and attention, I'm just like, for what? You know what I mean? He's not even doing my warm-ups. So
you'll see an 800-pound squat get like all this clout, and you're like, yeah, but I've done that for 6.
I know. I see that when people do 500-pound squats or like 600-pound squats. I'm like, I don't even put on sleeves on. I'm like, oh,
like, that's not even my warm up.
Yeah.
Get my back stretched out. yeah, kind of the same thing you're describing there. And then, you got your powerlifting fanboys that are all over this guy or this, person or whatever, and rightfully so. I mean, there's some, really great, lifters out there, but it's just kind of like just exactly what you're describing. Hey, we're super heavyweights. We're lifting the most weight out of anybody, and it just seems like the total ain't where it should be in its perspective in powerlifting, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
No, I think we're in a I mean, you're older than us, so you can probably speak to it better, but like we're in a very everyone's equal participation trophy society right now, I feel like. So it's like, but there's no, oh well, he's height for height the best basketball player. It's just like, well, there's either the best basketball player or the or not, you know what I mean? There's the biggest football player. There's no under 150-pound football leagues or whatever that everyone's watching every year. So it's I think we look at it in that sense of just like we respect the biggest number. And I think that's, again, kind of going back to April, I think that's what's going to be cool is we all have our own kind of relationship with Dan Bell, but at the end of the day, it's like everyone wants to beat that guy, whether that's Mount Everest or not. You know what I mean? So I think just you've done a meet with him, Brad. I mean, it kind of the first meet I saw Brad at, the podium was Andre Milanichev, Dan Bell, and then Brad Crawford. You know what I mean? So when you get to go toe to toe with some of the strongest people that ever get to do it, I mean, it lights a fire under your ass, man. You go to a different place.
Yeah, that was wild. I told my wife going into it, I was like, well, I said, what do you think your chances are? So, well, you got the strongest guy in the world, which was Milanichev. And I said, then you got the strongest, guy from America, which was Dan Bell at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. So then came in, and so that was still a big, probably one of my favorite moments of my powerlifting career was standing on the podium, next to those two guys, because who would ever think it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I came in, like, I remember some guy I talked to, and he was like, so I had like the old school blue Inzer singlet, and he was like, we didn't know who the hell you were. It was just like somebody's dad showed up and went to whooping ass.
Super bad, man. I remember. So this is what I vividly remember from that weekend. Is I was on the sleeve day, so I went. The meet was held at the ballroom in the hotel. So I come downstairs, I make weight, and then I go to watch the meet. And this was I hit like a 21 total at that meet. So like nothing. The numbers were much bigger. You know what I mean, on the wrap day and on some of the sleep day guys. And I remember the first thing I thought was I got to get a lot bigger, because there was guys like you said, Dan, Brad, Andre, Perseus Black. There was a guy from what was the guy from Ohio, Ryan something. I mean, these guys were all 350 pounds, besides Perseus, but he was just a yoked up dude, 275.
Yeah, Perseus.
But I mean, all huge dudes. But I'm seeing this all the meet and everything. It's going crazy, and then the meet hasn't even started yet, and Brad's already walking around, either the warm up room or in the crowd, already in his singlet, already ready to go. Like, you know what I mean? Just like ready for the day. And then you went like 3 for 3 on squat and bench, and then on your last deadlift, you went for like 920 or 925. And I mean, dude, when you talk about selling out for a lift, dude, Brad got that thing halfway up and then literally blacked out. I mean, like put everything he had into that lift to get it up, man. And then after the fact, I heard the story, and you can tell me how accurate it is. You had gotten to the hotel, and your air conditioning didn't work in the hotel. It was broken in your room, and you didn't have air conditioning for that whole weekend. And that was like days before you competed. And dude, he just toughed it out. He just like sucked it up and competed, had a badass day, best day he had up to that date, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
And even if you look at the podium, like I said, Andre was somewhere north of 23. Dan was a 22.92, and then Brad was a 22.70. I mean, they were all pretty fucking close. And Brad stayed in a fucking room that had no air conditioning for like 3 days prior. Like he was camping, man.
Yep. I went and got a fan, and it was just. I remember actually that's when I met Daniel Bell. I was coming down the elevator, and we looked at each other, and I said, "Man, I'm Brad." And he said, "I'm Daniel." He was talking glad, Daniel. A few times I've talked to him, been around him. He's always laughing and cutting up, so he's cutting up. And I was like,
big
man,
cackle.
yeah. And I was like, man, I stayed in a damn hotel room. I said, we didn't have any air conditioner. I had a fan. Of course, he started laughing. Oh man.
Man, that was fucking brutal. But I think that just really for me, like that was kind of when I just got this image of you. It's just like, because you were this extremely humble guy, like you were saying, someone thought you were someone's dad back there, and then you go out and you went out there and you smashed all these huge numbers under the worst circumstances possible, and you were just happy to be there, man. You're a dude that just loves to just hard work, and and the fact that even, like I said, the strongest dude that no one knows about on social media, like, you don't care. You know what I mean? You're just there to sit there and enjoy it and just put the work in and enjoy the camaraderie with everyone else that's putting the same work in. So, I mean, for me, that's what I'm fired up to, like I said, shake your hand and just compete with you in April, man. I've been talking to you for years now at this point, and it's going to be cool, man. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, same here for all three of y'all, man. Just going to be great to share the platform. And yeah, I mean, this sport, you guys know it. You've been around long enough and been in the big meets and all. I mean, if you don't have a love for this, you're not going to do it very long. You're not going to get rich. You're not going to get famous. It's just, for me, it's always been about the rush of lifting heavy weights. That's what keeps me coming back. It's just the rush I get from lifting those weights.
Amen, man. Amen. Well, I don't want to cut it short here, but I gotta get rolling. But I don't know if you guys want to keep going on or not. But we're probably about 45 minutes, Pat, right now, right?
Yeah, 47-ish.
All right, perfect. Well, I guess we're gonna wrap it on up here then. But Brad, dude, big time appreciate you coming on, man. Can't wait to lift with you in April. And
yeah, man.
We always extend it back out, dude. Whenever you want to come back out here, we can get one with Dan, you, and everyone do a quick one before the meet or something like that, or whatever else, dude. Always welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. I think it's only the second time I ever did something like this, so maybe I didn't sound like too much of a hick or redneck. So. But much respect to all you guys, and I follow all you guys and try to keep up what you're doing to stay motivated, and wish nothing but the best, good training, happy training, and blessed life to all you guys, man. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank
man.
you. Likewise
Thank
to
you so much.
What'd you say, Pat?
All right, boys.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you.
Oh yeah, anytime, man. Thank you for having me.
All right, boys. I'll be chatting with you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Enjoy the football today.
Yes, enjoy good football.
Jeez.